Welcome back to Innovation Bites, the podcast where we take a snapshot of the tastiest and most exciting parts of the Australian innovation ecosystem. My name is Gavin Heaton.
And my name is Lenore Johnston. Innovation Bites is brought to you by Disruptors Co. We're recording from the Quantum Terminal, which is on the lands of the Gadigal People of the Eora Nation.
This week, we'll be interviewing some interesting exhibitors from the Digital Transformation Live conference here in Sydney.
The two-day conference has been packed with insightful and thought-provoking panel discussions, speaker presentations, and an exciting pitch fest. But before we get into it, let's take a quick look at what's making headlines across the Australian innovation ecosystem this week.
First up, Apple has demoed a new headset, bringing its design and product philosophy to the virtual reality market. In an insightful Twitter thread, BBC technology editor Zoe Kleinman has suggested the experience targeting everyday users and not gamers is a genius touch. But at around 4K per pop, it's going to be a stretch for many of us.
The closing date for CSIRO's free MedTech program for SMEs, the Innovate to Grow program, is approaching with all applications due by 12th of June. The program is designed to connect businesses in the healthcare sector with researchers and commercialization experts who can help develop an idea into a research and development program. Companies in the health and nutrition, pharmaceuticals, drug discovery, diagnostics, and biomedical devices all qualify for the program, which will begin in July 2023.
NewsCorp is establishing an innovation centre. The centre will be focused on developing AI tools to support journalism capabilities. But reporters are concerned that the development of these tools will mean further cuts to journalism jobs across the sector.
The closing date for the entry into the InnovationAus Awards for 2023 is fast approaching. This year, there are new award categories, including our favourite, the Porsche Shetler Disruptor of the Year Award.
Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on Apple or Spotify.
Thanks, Gav. Now let's cross to the Digital Transformation Live conference to speak with some of the interesting exhibitors here in Sydney. Hi, we're here at Digital Transformation Live here in Sydney. We're just about to go and chat with some of the exhibitors here. Let's go.
But at Earth to Mars, what we say is we create space for change, irrespective of your role, irrespective of your title, irrespective of where you work. And so what we're seeing now in change is that there's a real merge of technology and people happening. But the important thing is that we need to remember, as humans, what are our human skills? So even though we're seeing things like ChatGPT, generative AI, all these new technologies that are coming into play, it's now more than ever important to understand, well, how can we work with each other better? And how can we adopt all of these new technologies that are coming into a place, into our workforce, into our companies, because it's disrupting so many sectors right now. So really, that's our pitch, I guess, so to speak, and really that's our mission. I think, look, I've already mentioned ChatGPT, AI, generative AI. That is something that is definitely becoming a lot more spoken about. And even as I look around, I mean, even in these startup pods, I see some of the titles of these companies, they've got AI within them. So we're already seeing that it's disrupting a lot of industries. I think there's lots of fear from some people who may not be sure about how do I use generative AI, how could I use it? Is it going to take my job? That's probably a very popular fear that's probably swimming around everywhere. But I think ultimately, the more we learn about it, the more we know. And by that, I mean, just start using it, start practicing, start getting used to it. I think that can really reassure us and just build that confidence, because what this has been already quoted before is that AI won't take our jobs, but someone who knows how to use AI will.
Absolutely.
So we really need to embrace this right now.
Hi, Rhonwyn. Thanks so much for joining us. I was hoping you could give me a quick 30-second pitch of your business, Vertanium.
Absolutely, Vertanium. Yeah, so Vertanium is we started with cybersecurity implementation, and then we quickly realized that it didn't matter what systems we put in place, that staff were just clicking away at things anyway. So we take it very seriously. I mean, I don't think most Aussies realize that we've lost like over 33 billion to cybercrime in like the recent couple of years. Like, it's not a long thing, and small to medium businesses like are just so targeted because we are so focused on sales and marketing and serving customers, and we kind of forget that serving customers is also about protecting them as well. So we're out there just trying to teach people awareness and what to do and what not to do and just how to do it right.
Beautiful, love that. And it's interesting because there's been a lot of big banks and things that are getting hacked, and they've got the money to be able to, not necessarily pay up, but
and I think that kind of begs the question of, if they can't even protect themselves, how do we protect ourselves? But it's the point of it's kind of like the two bears, the two guys who meet the bear in the woods, right? So two guys meet a bear in the woods, and one guy leans down and ties his shoelaces, and his friend's like, what are you doing? You can't outrun a bear. It's like, I don't need to outrun the bear, just you. And it's the whole point of cybersecurity is you can never protect yourself 100% from being breached or targeted, but what you can do is not be the low-hanging fruit and not be the last guy standing in front of the bear. So you just got to do what you can and be really vigilant and just know what's out there.
I love that analogy. That's great.
Yeah.
So in terms of digital transformation, do you have any top tips for the year ahead or any trends that you've noticed?
Yeah, I mean, especially for small to medium business, you're going to be looking at AI. I know you are. You're already onto ChatGPT. If not, you can. But it's something to be aware of that. As AI, we incorporate AI. You can. There are programs that will actually link up AI systems to talk to each other, so you can do a whole sequence without ever even looking at it now. It's amazing. But the thing with AI, it's still kind of a grey area. So we don't know about IP, intellectual protection, intellectual property rights. We're a little bit hazy on where our data goes and where it's stored, and confidentiality and all these things. So from a business perspective, AI should be treated with a little bit more, vigilance, a bit more protection, and just understand a little bit more about what you're getting into, and especially what your staff are dabbling into. So staff, good staff want to take initiative and want to try harder and sometimes also look for shortcuts, but just giving them some guidance on how to do that properly.
Yeah, look, at Corsight we are selling a facial recognition product. It is the most ethical and privacy-enabled facial technology in the world. And part of the reason that it's that private and that ethical is because it's amazingly accurate. We're very blessed that these guys in Israel have invented an algorithm that nobody else has yet, that enables us to pick up faces, amazingly accurate in a crowd with a lot of people on the watch list if that was necessary. The privacy aspect, if you're not on a watch list, okay, your face is blurred and we'll do a match to the watch list. If you're not on the watch list, all remnants of your face is completely discarded off the system forever within 1/1000th of a second. All of that happens that fast. So, we meet the GDPR standard, we meet the United Nations Human Rights Act standard, and we over-comply to the new model law legislation that's going through this country, which is something that we're really, really proud of, and it certainly is strong with my value system. Yeah.
Great. And so the problem that you're solving is essentially not keeping any data of people that aren't on the list. It's keeping data of only people that have already been input.
Yeah. So obviously we don't offer watch lists. People put their own watch lists on. And some of those watch lists are very, very necessary. And yes, there's counter-terrorism, but sometimes there's, for pubs and clubs, there's the MVSC. So some people have put their hands up and said, I struggle with gambling, please don't let me in your areas, which is great, but when they get the itch, sometimes they will do anything to get back in there. And a human, you've shaved your head, you've grown a beard, and you're wearing sunglasses. It's really difficult for a human to say, "Oh, hang on, you're on the watch list where there's 5,000 people."
Yeah.
So what we can do now is we can put facial recognition, and we've already rolled out about 50 of them. Facial recognition at the gaming areas. Doesn't matter if you're wearing glasses. It doesn't matter if the photo that we have of you is 20 or 30 years old. Shaved your head, grown a beard. That doesn't matter for us. And we can really do a lot of good to help people not get into the situation that we've seen before where people have betted too much money and instead of telling their wives, they've ended their life. So we feel that it's an amazing force for good. We're also doing things like whitelists. So with a whitelist, we can say only particular people are allowed to be in this area. Airports, for example, where some maintenance crews and food crews, they have access to the concourse, and they have access in and out of the concourse. well, no other human should be getting off planes and walking out of those gates, you know. So we can prevent other people walking out of those gates. We can make it so only the people behind counters are allowed to be there, you know. So it's really is a force for good. Yeah.
Hi, we're here with Sean from Energx. Sean, would you be happy to give us a little 30-second pitch of the
Absolutely, thank you. So, just in the context of change and transformation, the way we look at it is you want to have your team having the most energy possible for that. And the reality is that when you look at statistically, about 50% of employees are burnt out. And so that's affecting their productivity, it's affecting their creativity, it's affecting how they interact with each other. And you just want to have the fittest, most energized team possible. And so that's what we do. Essentially, we use a mix of AI and human coaching to really just help people be at their best. So we look at each individual. I always say to an organisation, if you can't claim to be an inclusive organisation if you treat everybody the same when it comes to their well-being. So that's where AI plays a really good role, to be able to look at the individual context, design for them a personal curriculum that helps boost their energy, and then bring teams together around ways that build collective energy, collective creativity to ultimately get the best outcomes. Yeah, so the way it works is, first of all, what we've found is people don't always want more apps. So, because it's just another thing that they need to sort of go to. So we've designed a coach that we call Frankie. Frankie's frank with you about what you need to do to look after yourself. And Frankie lives in Teams or Slack or WhatsApp, so just where people already are. Frankie just asks you a series of questions, takes 5 minutes, and then based on your unique set of answers, designs for you that personal curriculum that's also delivered in Teams or Slack, just as another chat. And then we take all of that data, we anonymize it, and then we look at what's common across the team, because what we've also found is that often we don't want to tell people that we're not at our best, or sometimes we just think everyone else is great and we're the weird one, you know. And so what we do is we share with the team and say, well, you know, 60% of you are struggling with sleep, or maybe 40% of you are struggling with your inner critic, or you're finding it hard to find balance. And so just knowing that as a team, you go, you're not alone in your experience, exactly, and that creates that sense of belonging as well. And then we look at that, we design a workshop to focus on the team actually solving that problem together and really holding each other accountable. And then the final thing that we do is we work with the leaders. What we really believe is that great leaders leave people more well than they found them. And I think if you're a leader that wants to be that, sometimes you don't always know how to achieve that. And so using that same set of data, we can help a leader be a great role model and know exactly how to coach their team as well to achieve that outcome.
That's really incredible and very needed in this day and age, I think. So thank you so much for your time.
You're very welcome. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Hi Niranjan, thanks for joining us. Niranjan is from Open Orbit. I was hoping that you would be able to give us a 30-second pitch of the business.
Of what we do,
of what you do.
So Open Orbit is software that mimics a consultant. We provide both software and services for operations effectiveness, designing business processes, optimizing them, and basically running your company the most effectively and efficiently from within. So that's our job.
Great, thank you. And in terms of digital transformation, is there any trends that you've noticed or anything to look out for the year ahead?
Yeah, look, I've always found technology is a great amplifier of differences. It really picks leaders and losers, unfortunately. The same with AI. And then now again, even more so with generative AI. If you get it and you use it right, you can really pull away from the crowd. And but if you don't have your basics in place, then you can really get left behind. So I just found more of that amplification is on offer now.
Great. All right, well, thank you so much for that. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Hi Sally, thanks so much for joining us. I was hoping you could give us a 30-second pitch about what the Institute of Applied Technology does.
Oh, I'd love to. So the Institute of Applied Technology, and I run the digital part of the Institute. We provide micro-credentials and micro-skills that are designed to help fill the gap that currently exists in the market and upskill New South Wales residents to better be able to take on tech roles. So, for example, we have courses in AI, in cloud, in cyber, in data. The Tech Council just recently had a report that we've still got a gap of about 600,000 people. We need another 600,000 people in tech by 2030, and we are still there. None of the traditional methods of getting that 600,000 are going to get us to that number. So we need additional ways of doing that, and that's what the IoT exists to do, is to help fill that gap and get people reskilled and upskilled.
You're brilliant. And is there any particular differentiators that set you apart from other?
Yeah, I guess, look, there exists in Australia dual sector universities. In some TAFEs there are higher education courses as well as vocational courses, but I think the key difference for us is the degree of collaboration between the different partners and the number of partners. So we have 2 university partners, UTS and Macquarie. We have TAFE, New South Wales obviously, we have Microsoft, and then we have a range of other industry partners as well. And those partners have been involved not just at the end or not just in the middle, but right from the get-go to co-design and co-develop and then co-deliver those programs. And I think that's what really makes us stand out from other programs in the market, is just the extent of that collaboration.
Brilliant, thanks so much. And lastly, before we go, is there any trends that you've noticed in digital transformation that you think people should look out for? Any tips?
What's interesting at the moment, I think, is that we've seen a bit of a softening in the market in terms of talent market. You've heard about a lot of layoffs and redundancies, and I think what we're seeing at the moment is that changing. And so digital transformation, particularly with AI starting to come to the fore, is even though people are worried about losing their jobs, we're actually seeing the market begin to pick up and people needing more tech-skilled staff again rather than fewer. So that would be probably my key trend.
It's a good way to look at it. I think there's a lot of, although many jobs may be less necessary, there's a lot of jobs and opportunities that will come
I think,
to the fore.
I sort of think of it as it's going to be the people who have the digital skills that replace the people who don't have digital skills. So it won't be that machines will necessarily replace people, but the people that know how to dominate the machines will replace the people who don't know how to dominate the machines. So, yeah.